Hi everyone, from another beautiful day in the garden. I was thinking to say a few words about the creative processes involved in making costumes of the sea and the land. First, they were made as the part of the project Creative Opportunities from Waste that is supported by Moray LEADER. And the finished costumes started the journey of exhibiting with a display in the window of Moray Reach Out in Buckie. And from there it was planned to be continued to be exhibited in Moray Art Centre for 4 weeks in April, but that unfortunately didn't happen for all the known reasons. Nature itself, as the endless stream of beauty, is the source of inspiration for both costumes, and to start with her, with the Lady of the Land. Her green outfit is inspired by the canopy of trees, with the movement of leaves in the wind. And her undercoat in red is about being very much alive, as the color itself represents, symbolizes life. And on the similar elements follows the sea costume as well. The cape collar is made from discarded plastic bottles, mostly in shades of green. They were first cut out in small circles by hand and the rough edges smoothened up with heat. Then the process of assembling started on the net kind of golden fabric that was sewn together as a base for embellishment. I continue with hand stitching each plastic circle individually, with little bits in the middle to add more texture and glass-like quality to the piece. The beads were sourced from discarded jewelry pieces. The creative process of reimagining waste also involved animating discarded fabrics, particularly synthetics like chiffon, organza, voile, from like two-dimensional flat surface into three-dimensional object. The technique is called 3D Shibori, and the process leaves like a memory on cloth. It's one of my favorite processes to play with, as the results are very unpredictable, but you always end up with very interesting textures. I started the process with dyeing fabric to the desired shade of green. Then wrapping items into fabric. Here I used beads. Then I secured them with thread and set them with heat, similar to steaming vegetables. And in this way, the process leaves a memory on cloth. Or in other words, the fabric will maintain the shape of the items enclosed to developed 3D texture. After steam heating it up for 30 minutes or more, then rapidly cooling it down, drying it out, and then finally unwrapping whatever was enclosed in the fabric. For her top I used the base that was an old theater costume piece that needed to be tailored and reshaped. The surface was then felted with wool fibers and embellished with thousands of glassed beads, hand stitched, and again the beads were sourced from discarded jewelry pieces. For the Crinoline I started with the base, a multi-layered vintage tulle petticoat in off-white that I found in Barras Market in Glasgow. I started first with dyeing to the shade of green, and this was my base almost done. It just needed a belt. The belt is a collage of different techniques and materials, from pieces of plastic, from bottles to seed beads, and lots of stitching. I was also left with loads of small remnants of good quality fabric, from silks to georgette, brocade, muslin, to name a few, and I decided for a total destructions of material in order to create new kind of garment. Small remnants were ripped unevenly into kind of leaf-shaped pieces and then densely sewn into a long strip of silk fabric. Then the whole strip with new kind of garment was sewn on the top of the tulle petticoat. The process involved quite a lot of thought and construction work, as I wanted from her waist the shade of green to be lighter and more vivid and getting darker, with browns, dark reds moving to the bottom. A beautiful headpiece, a crowning element of whole, was imagined and made by artist Caroline Bury, and it holds the traces of its original state before beginning a new life. It is made from reclaimed wool fibers and assembled together with needle felting, combined with contorted hazel branches. There were a few other things done to the costume, like with a red petticoat and with the red tights, makeover with the flower pieces sewn in. But enough now about Our Lady of the Land, and move to him. He looks a bit like Aquaman, associated with the sea. His cape collar is made with the same technique, but the sourced, discarded plastic bottles that are in the shade of blues and purples is quite challenging to find. He wears a makeover tailcoat with patchworks of greens and blues, and the garments are again developed by the method of 3D Shibori, but this time I enclosed into the fabric 5-pence coins. All the pieces of 3D fabric were then unevenly assembled together with the sashiko, a technique of little stitches. For hand stitches I use different shades of thread to give it more depth. Inside the tailcoat are machine sewn long strips of red fabric, gently gathered and then densely sewn close together to create a waving texture. The pattern on the trousers comes from cyanotype, sun print process. which means photographic imprint with natural sunlight. His headpiece, that was again imagined by Crinoline, is made from reclaimed wool fibers and textile scraps assembled together with needle felting, wire and stitching, along with recycled gas mask. The costumes were created to show the creative potential in the process of reimagining waste, to inspire and to leave behind a vision what is possible to achieve with upcycling. I'm hoping that will be possible to have exhibition sometime in the future, and that I will see you all there with all our costumes in first hand on display. So we have dates with Moray Art Centre for December, but when more information will be available, we will let you know. So looking forward to seeing you all there.